One, two, three, four.
If I do honestly believe that conversation is a pathway to building community, that means I have to have it in my own house and that I have to embody it. I think it's a little bit of a lost art. Still, when I meet any average person, someone came to fix my dryer. I'm like, so tell me how you got into drying, fixing dryers. And everybody in my family knows, here she goes. Oh God, here she goes. Because you can't help it. I'm just insatiably curious. I think that we've confused curiosity with nosiness and probing, whereas sometimes curiosity means you're interesting and there's something about you, innately that could take my understanding of myself and the community we occupy and elevate it. And so let's sort of create this bond, you and I, between the questioning and the asking and the answering and all of that. So I consider it to be like a precious thing. We've been using it in talking about gender, talking about who we are as sort of big mama and little mamas, but also talking about who we are in this country. So I think one of the conversations was, yes, because certain things happen to black men. I'm like, and black women. And so let's talk about, is it just blackness or is it people of color? Does whiteness represent one thing or can it represent many things? And so we've been able to delve into all the different ways to get into this conversation about race and social justice.
Even before the reemergence of the popularity of the Black Lives Matter trend, having such question-based or digging deep conversations with my family just casually gives you no space to be bored. Like you're sitting there and you're thinking about stuff and why did I do this or what am I about to do next? You start talking to yourself things that other people think are weird or whatever. But you're seeing this as the people that I'm comfortable with, the people that I live with are now okay with me expressing my emotions and with me coming up with weird questions or asking them why they're doing something. It's really about, do you feel comfortable around the people that you actually have to live with?
And sometimes the answer is no.
Mm-hmm.
I think discomfort is a part of this art we're talking about the conversations. When the answer to certain questions are, maybe I'm not involved because I don't care enough. Maybe many of us aren't involved in things because we don't care enough. And then let's investigate that. Like, what does it mean to not care? And let's also investigate this hierarchy. I call it the hierarchy of revolution. We think that to be an activist, you must do these things. Did you go to the march? You didn't go. Or do you have a Black Lives Matter banner in your yard? Or if it's voting time, you have the I voted sticker on. All these different ways to create identities, when in fact, I think there's several other layers that count. So we get to, as artists, decide what our activism looks like and to also not judge and hold each other sort of emotionally hostage if it doesn't look the same for everybody.
Art is more entrepreneurial because everybody's at home. So what can I make? What can I do?
So
what's my new website? And then there's the haters of that idea, because there's so much going on, making art more selfless. So now you feel the need to post this petition that you didn't sign yourself, but you're posting it so nobody said that you didn't say anything. So I guess more self-aware of why am I actually doing this? And even if I don't do it, does that mean I don't care? So still honing back on the idea that our lives are so fixed on social media that if you're not reaching out, if you're not posting this, then you're not an artist, you're not an activist, you don't count. So not true. Some people just don't want to post right now.
So what I know is that this is where great art is made, like these moments. When I think of myself as a student of revolution, and I think of myself as a student of the human quest for liberation. So where are people trying to get free and what are they trying to get free from? And what I have to admit is that as I think about the historical timeline that lends itself to this sort of awareness of people fighting in Cambodia or Iraq or Syria or Burkina Faso or wherever, or Madison, Tennessee, is that people are taking all of that rage and angst and frustration, and still being able to access joy, which then informs the art, which to me is the magic. I wonder if, so as an artist myself, I've thought to myself, which stories will I tell and how will I tell them? My challenge is the line between, and I think this is happening, in some ways the line is blurred, but in some ways it's even more defined, is myself as an African female artist telling an African female artist story. Where does that intersect with the human story and the human quest for liberation? So that when we remember COVID, we will talk about the moments in the house where we were coming up with dance moves, but we'll also talk about the health disparities that COVID illuminated. It becomes, how do we create art around silence and speech? And how do we make room to acknowledge both? The moments where we didn't use our mouths to voice anything. And then this moment when we are shouting. Will the summer of 2020 be the jump off for something that feels tangibly amazing? Like, wow, this was the beginning of it. And so I think conversation's part of it, but right back to self-introspection. What about the other marches I didn't march in? The other times I saw people suffering and I thought, is the voice on? And I turned the channel. All of that, I think that we have to be a little bit slow to self-congratulate. And I think we need to spend some time in self-examination. I would love to see what art comes from that.
Because people are recognizing they're actually a part of history. We're in a pandemic, it's protesting, political systems falling down, we're finally being exposed.
I like that.
So just more awareness of what exactly are we okay with during this time. So yes, the personal art leaves it to be just a booming thing where people have to think about how art is affecting them musically, what they're seeing, how people are valuing, more satisfying things, just eating and things that where they don't have to necessarily think about what's going on in the world. So yeah.
That's beautiful. I think we were home in quarantine for a week, and my sister-in-law, she's from Jamaica, sent me a Buju Banton song that mentioned COVID-19. I'm like, COVID just happened.
It was so good too.
How did Buju write a song? It was like, boom.
Coronavirus.
Yes. And look at how fast the commercials were popping out, talking about, we know it's a very sad time. It's important for us to come to. People were
DoorDash some pieces.
Yes. People were snapping art out. It was taking no time at all.